Well, I'm at my document camera now. We have some information here. We're trying to answer these questions. So it says we have some data. So this is from a class happened in spring of 2020. And over here, I've got a student ID number of 26 students. And then what their class standing is, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, what their gender is, what their major is, whether they have internet on their phone, whether they have a laptop, tablet, how many hours they slept last night, how far it is to their bed from their class, how many credit hours have they completed so far. It says identify which of those are categorical. So that shouldn't be too bad. We'll just go ahead and mark the categorical ones. We can tell they're categorical because they're numbers. So they're not numbers, they're categories. Okay, so categorical variables, class standing, gender, major. Do you have a phone or not? Do you have a laptop or not? A tablet or not? Hours slept last night. No, that's hours. That's a number with hours. Distance to bed, I suppose that's miles. Has units. Credit hours completed so far. That many credit hours. So we got there 6 kinds of categorical variables. And so now we just worry about parts of a whole. Which of those represent parts of a whole? And so class standing, I suppose it could, as long as I've got a complete list of what all the possible class standings. Like undergraduate class standing, I think we've got all the possibilities. Freshmen, I mean, they could put any possibility down. So I think that's okay. They only can pick one. So I think so. Parts of a whole, yes. Gender, yes. Male or female. Major, well, if you can't have 2 majors, I guess that's okay too. Here, yes or no, looks good to me. You can't answer both. Laptop, yes or no, can't answer both. Tablet, yes or no, can't answer both. Can't be in both. So all of those are parts of a whole. So all of them would be able to be graphed in all the styles of graphing that we've seen so far. So pie charts would work. There'd be a lot of slices for this one. Pie charts would work best for things like gender, freshman, sophomore, junior, not a huge number of categories. Everyone said yes to this. So the graph won't be very interesting. That was not it. So the things that might be interesting might just be the ones where we see some values that look like they might be comparable and interesting. 0 to 26 or 2 to 24. Pretty much everyone has a laptop or internet phone. But those ones circled could have all the kinds of graphs that we've been thinking of so far. Okay, and then got one other little piece of information here that we might sometimes make side-by-side bar graphs to compare categorical data sets and trends over time. So this particular graph here compares 2 years worth of information. They're separated by different colors. This year versus last year. This year's blue, last year is red. And then we're looking at the results of the survey of why did you pick CSu-Pueblo, and we're trying to see trends over time. So if we were doing that, we'd be looking for bars that sort of changed heights, and maybe these counts aren't really appropriate because the overall enrollment goes up or down. Maybe we should convert those numbers into percent of what fraction of the students identified each of those categories. That make more sense perhaps than just the count. But here we just have the counts, and I don't know what the total number of students was, so we just compare what we have. And the only thing that really seems like it might have changed, of course this is somewhat made up information, is here, this blue bar shrank quite a bit, where everything, well, here's the blue bar shrank quite a bit, but otherwise things are about the same. So this year, the cost was more important than last year, And then this year, safety was more important than last year, but otherwise things are just about the same. So that's a way of displaying information where you have multiple graphs sort of sitting side by side. So you can compare several different situations. You can compare different environments, different institutions, different things, as long as you are careful about what you use on the vertical axis. So if this was just what fraction of the students thought each of these was an attractive category that brought them to the school, you could compare that fraction of students across different institutions of different sizes and get some kind of relative idea of why people chose that. And that's the end of my document camera session. And I just going to take a look at how it came out. I'm having it recorded on Zoom. I don't think I'm actually seeing on my computer exactly what it's saving, so I'm just going to find out. So we see in a bit on the next slide or at the next section worth of videos. Here we go. I'm stopping the video now.